The crystal towers of Velos Prime stretched toward the purple sky like frozen lightning. Inside the highest tower, 12 different alien species sat around a massive table made of pure starlight. The Galactic Federation Council met only when something important happened. Today felt different. Kang Hyun walked slowly into the Great Hall. His 4 insect-like legs clicked on the smooth floor. As the oldest member of the Kithara race, he had seen many council meetings. His compound eyes looked around the room at the familiar faces. The tall, tree-like Villani swayed gently in their seats. The blue-skinned Morpheans sat in water-filled chairs that bubbled quietly. Other races filled the remaining seats, each bringing their own strange beauty to the gathering. The meeting started like all the others. Trade routes needed fixing. Some outer worlds wanted more freedom. Pirates attacked ships near the border worlds. Normal problems for a galaxy with billions of living beings. The mining rights on Kalos 7 need review, said Speaker Vorth, a gray-skinned Thakari with 6 arms. The Bendari claim we promised them exclusive access. Yoon Seok, young even by Villani standards, made a sound like wind through crystal. The Bendari always claim things. We have records. They can share the mining rights with 3 other races. The discussion went on for hours. Kang Hyun listened, but his mind wandered. Something bothered him about the recent reports from the Outer Rim. Ships were disappearing. Not many, but enough to notice. The missing ships all had one thing in common. They vanished near the Terran sector. The Terran sector sat at the edge of Federation space. Most council members called it empty space. Nothing lived there. No planets worth visiting, no resources worth taking. The computer records said exploration teams checked it long ago and found nothing. But Kang Hyun remembered older stories. Much older. Council members, Kang Hyun said, standing slowly. His voice carried the weight of his 1,000 years. I wish to speak about the missing ships. The room became quiet. When the old Kithara spoke, others listened. 12 ships have vanished in 6 months, all near the Terran sector. The computer records say that area holds nothing. But I have been reading the old books. Several council members made dismissive sounds. The Thakari clicked their tongues. The Morpheans bubbled with annoyance. Old books meant nothing when they had computers with perfect memory. Kang Hyun continued anyway. The books speak of a race called humans. They lived long ago before our Federation formed. The books say these humans were warriors. They flew between stars and metal ships. They fought with weapons that could break planets. Stories, said Vorth, waving 4 of his 6 arms. Tales told to scare children. If such a race existed, where are they now? The books say they disappeared, Kang Hyun replied. They went away to the dark places between stars. But the books also say something else. They say humans always return. Yoon Seok leaned forward. Her crystal body caught the light and threw rainbows across the table. Even if these stories were true, that was 3,000 years ago. Any race could have died out in that time. Could have, Kang Hyun agreed. But what if they did not? The council chamber filled with nervous energy. The other races had their own old stories about monster races from the void. Most tried not to think about such things. Commander Bex of the Zafrani military spoke up. Her scaled hands gripped the table edge. Old Kithara, you suggest these mythical humans live in the Terran sector? And they take our ships? I suggest we should find out, Kang Hyun said simply. The debate that followed lasted 3 hours. Most council members thought Kang Hyun had read too many old books. The missing ships probably hit asteroids or suffered engine failures. Space was dangerous. Ships sometimes vanished. But Yoon Seok supported the old archivist. She had studied the disappearance patterns. The ships vanished too cleanly. No distress signals. No debris fields. No signs of struggle. Something took them, but what? We should send scout ships, she suggested. Small, fast vessels that can escape if they find trouble. We should send warships, Commander Bex countered. If something hostile lives in the Terran sector, we need to show strength. The argument continued until Speaker Vorth called for order. Enough, we will compromise. 3 scout ships will survey the Terran sector border. If they find anything unusual, they report back immediately. No heroics. No first contact attempts, just observation. The vote passed with 8 members agreeing, 3 opposing and 1 abstaining. Kang Hyun felt satisfied but worried. The old book spoke of human cleverness as much as human strength. If they still lived out there, they would not be easy to find. After the meeting ended, Yoon Seok approached Kang Hyun. "Do you really believe the stories? About humans?" The old Kithara looked at her with ancient eyes. "Child, in my long life I have learned something important. The scariest stories are often the truest ones." That night, Kang Hyun returned to his quarters and opened the oldest book in his collection. The pages crumbled at his touch, but the words remained clear. They described a race that looked small and weak but possessed minds like steel traps. They built tools to solve any problem. They never gave up, even when defeat seemed certain. One passage made Kang Hyun pause every time he read it. The humans did not conquer through strength alone. They conquered through persistence. When knocked down, they stood up. When beaten, they learned. When driven away, they prepared. They called themselves many things, but other races knew them by one name: the enduring ones. The book fell silent under his gaze. Outside his window, the stars shone in patterns that had remained unchanged for millennia. But something felt different now. Somewhere in that vast darkness, something was stirring. The 3 scout ships would launch in 2 days. They would fly to the edge of Terran space and look for answers. Kang Hyun hoped they would find nothing. He feared they would find everything. As he prepared for sleep, one last thought crossed his mind. If humans had survived 3,000 years of exile, what had they been doing all that time? The old book suggested an answer, but Kang Hyun tried not to think about it. According to the stories, humans spent their time preparing for war. The Federation communication networks burned with urgent messages. In less than 48 hours, human ships had appeared in 12 different sectors simultaneously. They did not attack or threaten, but they watched everything with sensors that seemed to see through any protection. Kim Tae stood before a massive holographic display in the Kithara military headquarters. Her 4 arms moved quickly over the control panels as she analyzed the pattern of human appearances. Each red dot on the map showed where a human ship had been spotted. The pattern made her nervous. "They are not random," she announced to the gathered military leaders. "Look at the positions." The hologram zoomed out to show the entire Federation territory. The red dots formed a perfect network, with human ships positioned at every major hyperspace junction. Every trade route, every military pathway, every shortcut between systems, all watched by human vessels. "This is a surveillance grid," Kim Tae continued. "They can monitor everything that moves through Federation space." General Vex, an elderly Thakari with battle scars across his gray skin, leaned forward. "How many ships are we talking about?" "At least 50 confirmed sightings. But our sensors suggest there may be many more we cannot detect." The room fell silent. 50 ships could not create such a comprehensive network unless they possessed technology far beyond Federation capabilities. "What are their intentions?" asked Commander Zol, a nervous Bendari who commanded the border fleets. "Unknown," Kim Tae replied. "They scan everything but make no aggressive moves. They respond to communication attempts with simple acknowledgments, nothing more." On Velos Prime, Yoon Seok worked frantically in the Federation archives alongside Kang Hyun. The old Kithara had brought every ancient text he could find, spreading them across multiple tables in the Crystal Library. "Here," Kang Hyun said, pointing to a crumbling page with one of his clawed fingers. "This passage describes human behavior patterns." Yoon Seok read the ancient script aloud, her crystalline voice echoing in the quiet library. "The humans do not act without purpose. When they watch, they learn. When they learn, they prepare. When they prepare, they act decisively. What does that mean for us?" she asked. Kang Hyun turned another fragile page. "It means they are gathering information for a specific purpose. The question is what purpose." Yoon Seok found another relevant passage. "Listen to this. The humans call themselves patient, but other races learn to fear their patience. A human who waits is a human who plans." The 2 scholars continued reading through the night. Each text painted the same picture. Humans were strategic thinkers who planned carefully before taking action. They did not waste effort on meaningless gestures. "If they are watching us now," Yoon Seok said, "it means they intend to do something soon. Or something is coming that requires their attention," Kang Hyun replied ominously. 3 days after the first human sightings, Federation patrol ships tried to approach the watching vessels. The results were always the same. As soon as Federation ships came within weapons range, they received the same message on all communication frequencies. Captain Rex of the patrol ship Swift Strike reported the encounter to his superiors. The human ship transmitted a simple message: maintain distance. We mean no harm. When we continued approach, our ship systems began to malfunction. Not damaged, just temporarily disabled. Engines stopped, weapons powered down, shields collapsed. The systems reactivated as soon as we moved away. Similar reports came from every Federation vessel that attempted contact. The humans could disable any Federation ship without causing permanent damage. They demonstrated complete technological superiority while showing remarkable restraint. Then, on the fourth day, everything changed. Every human ship in Federation space transmitted simultaneously on all frequencies. The message was broadcast in every Federation language, perfectly pronounced and culturally appropriate. Citizens of the Galactic Federation, we are the species you call human. We have observed your civilization for 3,000 years and find it worthy of respect. The Council of Echoes will convene in 7 days at the neutral station orbiting Helios 7. Humanity requests an audience to discuss matters of mutual importance. The transmission paused, then continued with words that sent chills through every listener. We have much to discuss about the future of this galaxy. The message ended, but its impact echoed across Federation space. Emergency sessions convened on every member world. Military fleets mobilized. Civilian populations demanded answers their governments could not provide. On Velos Prime, the Federation Council gathered for the most important session in their history. Representatives from all 12 races filled the crystal chamber, their faces showing fear, confusion, and desperate hope for guidance. Speaker Vorth called for order with all 6 of his arms raised. We face a situation unprecedented in Federation history. A species we believed mythical has revealed itself and requests formal contact. Yoon Seok stood to address the council. The ancient texts suggest humans do not make requests lightly. If they ask for an audience, they have something crucial to communicate. Or they plan to deliver ultimatums, Kim Tae countered from the military section. Their technological superiority is absolute. They could destroy us easily. Commander Bex, the Zephrani military leader, agreed. We should assume hostile intent and prepare our defenses. Kang Hyun rose slowly, his ancient voice carrying across the chamber. Council members, consider this carefully. These humans have watched us for 3,000 years. They know our every weakness, our every strength. If they wanted to destroy us, we would already be dead. Then what do they want? Demanded General Vex. Perhaps, Kang Hyun said thoughtfully, they want to save us. The debate raged for hours. Some council members wanted to refuse the meeting and prepare for war. Others argued for immediate surrender to superior technology. A few suggested the humans might offer beneficial partnership. Finally, Park Jun requested permission to speak. As the first Federation officer to encounter humans directly, his words carried special weight. Council members, I looked into the sensors that could see through our best shields. I heard the voice that knew our deepest secrets. But I also detected something else. He paused, gathering his thoughts. Respect. The human I spoke with showed respect for our capabilities, even though they far exceeded them. What does that suggest? Asked Yoon Seok. It suggests they see us as equals in potential, if not in current ability. Enemies do not show respect. Conquerors do not demonstrate restraint. The final vote was unanimous. Accept the human request for audience. The Federation would send representatives to Helios 7 and discover what humanity wanted after 3,000 years of silence. As the council session ended, Kang Hyun pulled Yoon Seok aside. There is one more passage in the ancient texts you should know about. What does it say? The old Kithara's compound eyes reflected worry. It says that when humans reveal themselves after long absence, it means a great danger approaches. A danger so terrible that even humans cannot face it alone. Yoon Seok felt her crystal body grow cold. What kind of danger? The kind that threatens all life in the galaxy. Outside the council chambers, human ships continued their silent watch, sensors scanning the darkness between stars for signs of something approaching from the void. The Federation's deep space sensors detected them first, dark shapes emerging from the void beyond the galactic rim. The readings made no sense at first. Objects the size of small planets moving at impossible speeds toward their galaxy. Within hours, every Federation world received the same terrifying message. The Devourers had arrived ahead of schedule. On Velos Prime, the emergency council session began with chaos. Representatives from 12 races shouted over each other in a dozen languages, while holographic displays showed the approaching machine fleet. The Devourers moved in perfect formation, their dark ships blotting out stars as they passed. "How many ships?" demanded General Vex, his scarred Thakari face gray with fear. "Our sensors count over 10,000 vessels in the first wave," reported Kim Tae, her 4 arms working frantically over tactical displays. "But the formation suggests many more behind them." Speaker Vorth slammed his 6 arms on the council table. "Where are the humans? They promised to help fight these monsters." As if summoned by his words, Admiral Song Min's voice filled the chamber through the communication system. "Federation Council, this is Admiral Song Min. Please look outside your windows." The council members rushed to the crystal walls of their tower. In the purple sky above Velos Prime, space itself seemed to shimmer and twist. Then the shimmering fell away like a curtain being pulled aside. Human ships appeared everywhere. Not the small scout vessels they had seen before, but massive warships that dwarfed anything in Federation records. Sleek destroyers hung in formation around the planet like metal sharks. Enormous carriers stretched for kilometers, their hulls bristling with weapon systems that bent light around their edges. And above them all, fortress ships the size of cities floated in the atmosphere, their gravity drives holding them steady despite their impossible mass. "By the crystal depths," whispered Yoon Seok. "How many ships do they have?" Her question was answered when Admiral Song Min appeared as a hologram in the council chamber. Behind her, Dr. Choi Won worked at displays showing fleet deployments across the entire galaxy. The Human Colonial Defense Force currently maintains 47,000 active warships, Admiral Song Min announced calmly, with approximately 130,000 ships in reserve production facilities. The Federation delegates stared in shock. The entire Federation fleet consisted of less than 8,000 vessels. Humanity had built a shadow navy 20 times larger while remaining completely hidden. "How is this possible?" Park Jun asked, his blue Morphean skin pale with amazement. Dr. Choi Won answered while continuing his work. "Pocket dimension manufacturing. For 3,000 years we have maintained industrial facilities in folded space. Each facility could build ships continuously without detection." "And you built all this to fight the Devourers?" Kim Tae asked. "We built this to save the galaxy," Admiral Song Min corrected. "The Devourers consume everything, planets, stars, entire systems. They convert all matter into computing substrate for their collective intelligence." The holographic displays around the chamber showed the true scope of the approaching threat. Devourer ships had entered the galaxy's outer rim and begun their terrible work. Entire solar systems winked out of existence as the machines harvested everything for raw materials. "They move faster than our predictions suggested," Dr. Choi Won reported grimly. "The lead elements will reach Federation space in 72 hours. Admiral Song Min turned to address the Federation Council directly. "We request permission to coordinate joint defense operations. Human technology can be integrated with Federation systems to improve your ship's capabilities." "What kind of improvements?" asked Commander Bex, the Zephrani military leader. Dr. Choi Won activated new displays showing Federation ship designs enhanced with human technology. Quantum shields that can resist Devourer energy weapons. Gravity pulse drives for faster-than-light tactical movement. Dimensional displacement cannons that can damage their hulls. The improvements were staggering. Federation ships that had seemed powerful now looked like toys compared to what human technology could create. "We accept your assistance," Speaker Vorth declared immediately. "What do you need from us?" "Courage," Admiral Songman replied simply. "And trust. The battle ahead will test every race in ways they have never experienced." Over the next 48 hours, the galaxy transformed into a fortress. Human engineers worked alongside Federation technicians to upgrade every available ship. Morphean science vessels received weapon systems that could crack moons. Thakari heavy cruisers gained shields that bent space itself. Even small Bendari patrol boats became deadly weapons of war. Lihana stood on the bridge of the Tidewalker, now bristling with human technology she barely understood. Quantum field generators hummed beneath the deck plates. The main view screen showed tactical displays that mapped enemy positions across multiple dimensions. "It feels like a different ship," she told Park Jun. "It feels like a weapon," he replied, testing the new control systems. "A weapon designed by minds that understand war better than we do." Throughout Federation space, similar scenes played out on thousands of ships. Crews learned to operate technology that seemed like magic. Human advisors worked patiently with alien hands that had never touched such advanced systems. But the most shocking revelation came when the hidden human installations began revealing themselves. Yoon. Seok stood on a Volani observation platform, watching as a human battle station emerged from what had appeared to be empty space. The massive structure unfolded like a metal flower, revealing defensive platforms, shipyards, and weapon systems that had been hidden in pocket dimensions for millennia. "They have been living among us all this time," she said to Kang Hyun, who had joined her for the viewing. "Not among us," the old Kithara corrected. "Above us, protecting us. We have been children playing in a garden while adults watched for wolves." Across the galaxy, more human installations appeared. Research stations materialized in asteroid fields. Manufacturing complexes emerged from quantum folds in space. Defense platforms activated at strategic points throughout every Federation system. The numbers were staggering. Humanity had not simply maintained a presence in Federation space. They had built a complete shadow civilization, invisible and undetected for 3,000 years. Kim Tae studied the tactical reports with growing amazement. "They have more infrastructure in Federation space than the Federation itself. How did we never detect any of this?" "Because they are better at hiding than we are at seeking," Admiral Song-min explained during a command briefing. "But concealment is no longer necessary. The Devourers cannot be defeated through stealth." The final preparations completed just as the first Devourer ships entered Federation territory. The machine vessels moved through space like a plague, consuming everything in their path. Planets disappeared into their processing bays. Stars were drained of energy to power their weapons. Even empty space seemed to wither in their presence. But as the Devourers advanced, they encountered something they had not expected. Human ships emerged from every shadow, every hiding place, every pocket of folded space. The fleet that revealed itself was not measured in thousands, but in tens of thousands. And behind the human ships came something even more surprising. Federation vessels enhanced with human technology, crewed by aliens who had learned to fight like humans. Admiral Song-min stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Enduring Dawn, and opened communication channels to every allied ship in the galaxy. "All ships, this is Admiral Song-min. Today we face an enemy that has consumed entire galaxies. They believe we are simply more resources to be harvested. They are wrong." She paused, looking at the massive holographic display that showed the combined human Federation fleet deploying throughout the galaxy. Today, they learn what happens when predators mistake humans for prey. Today they discover what we have built in 3,000 years of preparation. Today they face not just humanity, but all the races we have learned to call friends. The communication ended, and across the galaxy, the greatest fleet in galactic history prepared for war. Helios Station orbited the gas giant Helios 7 like a steel flower blooming in space. Built as a neutral meeting place for diplomatic encounters, the station had hosted peace talks and trade negotiations for centuries. But nothing in its history compared to today's meeting. Federation delegates filled the main conference chamber, their various forms creating a rainbow of alien biology. Yoon Seok sat beside Kang Hyun, her crystal body reflecting the nervous energy that filled the room. Kim Tae positioned herself near the military contingent, ready to assess any threats. Park Jun and Lee Hana represented the exploration services, their blue Morphean skin pale with anxiety. The chamber's massive viewports showed the swirling storms of Helios 7 below. In the distance, 3 human ships waited in perfect formation. Their sleek hulls reflected no light, making them appear like holes cut from space itself. "They should be arriving soon," announced Station Commander Vel, a nervous Zafrani whose scales kept shifting color with stress. The chamber doors opened silently. The Federation delegates turned to see their first humans in person. 2 figures walked into the room with quiet confidence. They appeared smaller than most Federation races, standing on only 2 legs with thin builds that seemed fragile compared to the armored Thakari or towering Villani. But something in their bearing commanded immediate attention. The first human was a woman with dark hair streaked with silver. She wore a simple blue uniform without decoration, but her presence filled the room like gravity from a massive star. Behind her walked a man with kind eyes and steady hands, carrying what appeared to be a data tablet. The woman stopped before the Federation delegation and spoke in perfect galactic standard. I'm Admiral Songmin of the Human Colonial Defense Force. This is Dr. Choi Wan, our chief xenobiologist. We thank the Federation Council for accepting our request for audience. Speaker Vorth cleared his throat nervously. Welcome to Helio Station, Admiral Songmin. I am Speaker Vorth of the Galactic Federation Council. We have many questions about your people and your intentions. As do we about yours, Admiral Songmin replied calmly. Perhaps we should begin with truth. The Federation has questions about human capabilities and intentions. We have observations about Federation development and potential threats. Dr. Choi Wan stepped forward. With your permission, I would like to address some misconceptions about human history in this galaxy. He activated his tablet, and holographic displays filled the chamber. The images showed star charts, ship designs, and historical records that made the Federation delegates gasp. The Federation believes humans disappeared from this galaxy 3,000 years ago. Dr. Choi Wan began. This is incorrect. We never left. Kang Hyun leaned forward, his compound eyes reflecting the holographic light. But the ancient texts speak of human departure to avoid galactic war. The texts speak truth, but not complete truth, Admiral Songmin replied. We withdrew from open contact to allow younger races time to develop. But we maintained hidden observation posts throughout Federation space. The holographic display showed a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Red dots began appearing, thousands of them scattered through every sector of Federation territory. These represent permanent human installations, Dr. Choi Wan explained. Research stations, manufacturing facilities, defensive platforms. We have been here all along, watching and learning. Yoon Seok's crystalline voice rang with disbelief. You have been living in Federation space for 3,000 years without our knowledge. Correct. We developed advanced stealth technology and pocket dimension storage to remain undetected. Your sensor networks passed our installations countless times without recognition. Kim Tae stood abruptly, her forearms clenched with tension. Why watch us in secret? Why not make contact? Admiral Songmin's expression grew serious. Because contact changes everything. We learned this lesson in previous galaxies. Previous galaxies? Park Jun asked weakly. Dr. Choi Wan changed the holographic display to show a star map far larger than anything the Federation had ever seen. Multiple galaxy clusters appeared, connected by faint lines. Humanity originated in the Milky Way galaxy, approximately 50,000 years ago. We achieved interstellar travel early in our development and began exploring neighboring galaxies. We made contact with younger civilizations and tried to help them advance. The display showed images of alien races the Federation had never seen. Beautiful crystal beings, energy creatures that lived in stars, mechanical intelligences that spanned entire systems. What happened to them? Yoon Seok whispered. They became dependent on human technology instead of developing their own capabilities, Admiral Songmin replied sadly. When threats emerged that required independent thinking and innovation, they could not adapt. Entire civilizations collapsed because they had become too reliant on human solutions. Dr. Choi Wan continued the explanation. We learned that direct intervention often prevents natural development. Young races need time to grow, to make mistakes, to find their own solutions. Only then can they face true challenges. So you watched us struggle instead of helping? Kim Tae demanded angrily. We helped, Admiral Songmin said quietly, but indirectly. The holographic display changed again, showing historical events from Federation records. But now they included additional information, events that had been hidden from Federation knowledge. The Cathara plague that ended mysteriously after killing only a few thousand. Dr. Choi Wan pointed to medical records. Human scientists developed the cure and introduced it through seemingly natural mutations. The Thakari-Bendari War that ended when both sides' weapons suddenly malfunctioned. Admiral Songmin indicated military reports. Human engineers disabled key systems to force diplomatic solutions. The asteroid that should have destroyed Vellani Prime, but broke apart at the last moment. Dr. Choi Wan showed astronomical data. Human ships used gravity manipulation to redirect its path. The Federation delegates sat in stunned silence as decades of their history were rewritten before their eyes. Events they had attributed to luck, divine intervention, or natural phenomena had actually been human intervention. How many times? Yoon Seok asked in a small voice. Approximately 47 major interventions over the past 3,000 years, Dr. Choi Wan replied. hundreds of minor adjustments to prevent disasters or encourage beneficial developments. Kang Hyun spoke with the weight of his ancient years. The old text said humans were guardians. We thought it meant warriors, but you were guardians in the truest sense. We tried to be, Admiral Song-min acknowledged. We protected the Federation's development while allowing natural growth and learning. Park Jun finally found his voice. Why reveal yourselves now? What has changed? The chamber grew cold as Admiral Song-min's expression darkened. Dr. Choi Won changed the holographic display one final time. The image showed the edge of their galaxy, but something was wrong. Dark shapes moved in the space between stars, vast and terrible, because something is coming that even humanity cannot face alone. Admiral Song-min said grimly, something that threatens not just the Federation, but all organic life in this galaxy. The dark shapes in the hologram moved closer, and Federation delegates could see they were ships. Massive vessels the size of small moons, so many they blotted out the stars behind them. The Devourers have found us, Dr. Choi Won announced. They consumed 3 nearby galaxies while we watched in horror. Now they come for ours. What are Devourers? Kim Tae asked, though she feared the answer. Ancient machine intelligences that convert all matter into computing substrate, Admiral Song-min explained. They see organic life as inefficient and seek to optimize the universe by consuming everything. The holographic fleet continued its advance toward their galaxy. Even at the display scale, the number of ships seemed infinite. When will they arrive? Yoon Seok whispered. 6 months, Admiral Song-min replied. Perhaps less. The Federation delegates stared at the approaching doom in horrified silence. Finally, Speaker Vorth managed to speak. What do you propose we do? Admiral Song-min straightened, and for the first time, the delegates saw the warrior that lived beneath her diplomatic exterior. We fight. Together. And we pray that 3,000 years of preparation will be enough. 3 weeks after the council meeting, the Morphean science vessel Tidewalker drifted through the black void near Terran space. Captain Park Jun stood on the bridge, his blue skin glowing softly in the dim light. His gills fluttered with nervous energy as he watched the sensor readings. Still nothing, Captain, reported Lee Hana from the communication station. Her webbed fingers danced over the controls. No ships, no signals, no signs of life anywhere. Park Jun nodded but felt uneasy. The Tidewalker had spent 2 weeks searching the outer edge of the Terran sector. They found plenty of empty space and a few dead rocks, but nothing that explained the missing Federation ships. The quantum readings are getting stronger, said Chief Science Officer Nal Keth, a thin Bendari with gray skin. Whatever causes them comes from deeper in the sector. How much deeper? Park Jun asked. At least 50 light years. Maybe more, Park Jun considered their orders. Stay at the border. Do not enter Terran space. Report anything unusual and return home. But the quantum readings might be important. They could explain the disappearances. Captain, Lee Hana said suddenly, I have something on sensors. Small craft approaching fast. Park Jun looked at the main screen. A single blip moved toward them from inside Terran space. The ship looked strange on their displays. Too angular, too simple. Can you identify the design? He asked. Negative, sir. It does not match any known Federation vessel. The hull appears to be basic metal alloy. Primitive propulsion system. Simple energy weapons. The unknown ship continued its approach. Park Jun felt his hearts beating faster. First contact situations required careful handling. One wrong move could start a war. Open communication channels, he ordered. All frequencies. Lee Hana worked her controls. Channels open, Captain. Park Jun cleared his throat and spoke in Galactic Standard, the common language used by all Federation races. Unknown vessel, this is Captain Park Jun of the Federation ship Tidewalker. Please identify yourself and state your intentions. Silence filled the bridge. The unknown ship kept approaching but did not respond. Try again, Park Jun said. Unknown vessel. We wish peaceful contact. Please respond. This time an answer came. The voice sounded strange, flat and calm like someone reading from a script. It spoke perfect Galactic Standard without any accent. Federation vessel Tidewalker, we acknowledge your presence. Maintain current position. Park Jun exchanged glances with his crew. How did they know the ship's name? Federation vessels did not broadcast identification unless asked. Unknown vessel, please identify yourself according to Federation First Contact protocols. A pause, then the voice spoke again. Protocols noted. We are human. The bridge fell silent. Lihana's gills stopped moving. Nalketh dropped his scanning device. Park Jun felt his blood turn cold. "Did you say human?" he managed to ask. "Confirmed. We have been monitoring your presence in this region. Your mission parameters suggest scientific exploration rather than military reconnaissance." How could they know about mission parameters? That information was classified. "How do you have access to our mission data?" Park Jun demanded. "We have been observing Federation activities for some time. Your communication networks, ship movements, and territorial boundaries are well documented in our records." Lihana turned to Park Jun with fear in her large eyes. "Captain, how long have they been watching us?" Before Park Jun could answer, the human voice continued. "Captain Park Jun, we will transmit data to demonstrate our knowledge of Federation capabilities. Please review." The main screen flickered. Suddenly, detailed information appeared. Complete specifications for every Federation ship class, patrol routes, defense positions, even the personal files of council members. Information that should have been impossible to obtain. "This is classified Federation intelligence," Park Jun said weakly. "Correct. We have been gathering this information for approximately 3,000 years. The number hit Park Jun like a physical blow. 3,000 years meant these humans had been watching since before the Federation existed. They knew everything about every race, every world, every secret. "What do you want from us?" Park Jun asked. "Currently nothing. We merely wish to establish contact and assess your intentions in this region. Your species shows promise." "Our species?" "The Morpheans demonstrate scientific curiosity balanced with caution. These are valuable traits. Other Federation races have different strengths." Park Jun realized the humans were evaluating them like specimens in a laboratory. The thought terrified him. "We should return to Federation space and report this contact," he said. "Agreed. However, Captain Park Jun, you should be aware that additional encounters are likely. We have ships throughout this region." "How many ships?" "Sufficient for our needs." The human vessel began to turn away. Park Jun had 1,000 questions, but one seemed most important. "Will you attack Federation worlds?" The human voice paused before answering. "Captain, if we intended harm to the Federation, you would already be dead. We seek something else entirely." "What?" "Preparation." The transmission ended. On the sensor screen, the human ship seemed to fade away. Not moving off, actually disappearing from their instruments. "Did we lose sensor contact?" Park Jun asked. "No, sir," Lihana replied, her voice shaking. "The ship is still there. Our sensors just cannot detect it anymore." Nalketh stared at his instruments. "Captain, their technology is far beyond ours. That ship should not be able to hide from our best sensors." Park Jun ordered course set for Federation space immediately. As the Tidewalker turned for home, he tried to process what had happened. Humans were real. They had been watching for 3,000 years. They possessed technology that made Federation science look primitive. But the most disturbing part was their claim about preparation. Preparing for what? 2 hours into their journey home, Lihana reported more contacts. 3 ships approaching, Captain. Same design as the first one. Are they threatening us?" "No, sir, they appear to be escorting us." Park Jun looked at the sensor display. 3 human ships flew in perfect formation around the Tidewalker. They made no aggressive moves, but their presence felt ominous. "Captain," Lihana said quietly, "they are scanning us. Deep scans down to the molecular level. Can we stop them? Our shields have no effect. It is like they are not there." The escort continued for 6 hours. The human ships maintained perfect distance and formation, never varying by even a meter. When the Tidewalker finally reached Federation space, the escorts simply vanished. Park Jun immediately sent an emergency message to the Council. His report would change everything. The humans were not legends. They were real, powerful, and had been watching the Federation for longer than any race could remember. As he wrote his report, one thought kept returning. The human had said they were preparing. In Park Jun's experience, races only prepared for 2 things: opportunity or war. He hoped it was opportunity.